Hello everybody, my name is Drew and I am going to show you how I integrate the Okashi role-playing kit with the Invictor third-person controller inside the Unity game engine. Those are two awesome starter kits, but on their own, they both are lacking a little something something. But together, they will make one hell of a role-playing game. It will have combat similar to Dark Souls. It will have open world exploration to a small degree. Don't expect Elder Scrolls size map because I'm just me. And it will have lots and lots of items and armor. I use DAZ 3D for my items and armor for a lot of my items. Some of my items come from the asset store, but most of them come from DAZ. I highly recommend you invest in some DAZ models if you really want to, well, have a huge access. They've recently redone their game license, which kind of sucks for you guys. But if you have DAZ game license already, it's awesome. It gives you access to hundreds and hundreds of models to use in game. They're not all game ready, but they can be with a little work, with a lot less work, and a lot cheaper than buying the custom models of that magnitude. In any case, I will show you what I have so far. What I have right now is a new game set up with, this is the Ork demo scene you may recognize, and this is the Invictor third-person shooter controller on the M4 base model that you can download from, or you used to be able to download from Mixamo. But you can use whatever figure you want. I'm not going to go through showing you how I set up my figure because there's nothing on there that isn't in the tutorials for setting it up. But I'm going to show you how to make it work with the Ork framework. It does to some degree. You can still do this, however, this doesn't work. You can still move. And then when you save and load, you will get some errors down here. Some null reference errors, which I will help you fix. Let me give you a view of the character. First, let me show you everything that I have imported into my packet, into my project. These are the Ork tutorial resources. These are some standard assets that are downloaded from various things, including the Ork demo. These are my scripts that I write myself, and I will go over all of them to help you make your own. This is an optional, this is an optional, this is an optional, 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 and optional, as well as that. And this is where I have some enemies that I have made from DAZ monsters, DAZ figures. Like this guy here. He's a demon. Bum, bum, bum. And they've been all set up to work with the Invictor third-person controller, though they may need to be updated since this was done in a previous version of the Invictor controllers. That should be in tutorial resources. Exports from enemies. And then here is my Nibus 5K. So the prefab seems to be missing. But that's okay, because I'm redoing them all anyway. They're probably around somewhere. In any case, the first thing I want to do is I want to make it so it is no longer using this base figure. But Drew, you just wanted to set that guy all just up, right? I did indeed. So now you have to go and set him up again? I do not. I am going to show you how you can use conforming clothes inside of Unity. So I can take clothes and put it right on top of this guy. I can put an entire figure, which is actually what I'm going to do, right on top of this without doing any other setup. It's one simple code. Well, it's actually two simple codes, but that's just one of the codes is just there for a reference. Let me show you how that works. Let me show you the script I'm going to be using first. The script I'm going to be using is this script right here called close parenter. What this does is it goes through the two figures and looks for identical child transforms, i.e. bones, and matches them up, parents them, positions them, and rotates them so it conforms the clothing perfectly to the other figure. As you notice here, it has one. This is the my hip here is the only other script you'll need, which is just an empty script. That's it. Empty script called my hip. It's just there to make it much easier for the other script to find the root. It doesn't even have to be the hip. I just use that because that is what all my characters use. So let me show you that in action. Let me drag my character, where is it? M4 and M4 third person shooter right here. You can see, let me turn off, he's got the ragdoll set up. You can see the little colliders there. I haven't adjusted any of that. That can be easily adjusted anytime you want. It's got the melee hitboxes there you can see. And this is important. Over here under the animator, you have to change it to always animate because I am just about to turn off the mesh renderer because I'm not going to be using this mesh renderer. Apply. So now when I hit play, let me empty it so I don't get any errors. When I hit play, a new game, there's no one there. You can see footsteps still, and you can hear the footsteps. And he jumps and the camera's following him, but there's no renderer. We want that because what we're going to do now is on this guy, let's reactivate him. I'm going to put the ORK framework controls equipment viewer. Scroll down to this equipment viewer and change it to armor. Perfect. Now let's apply this guy. Oh, I forgot one thing. In the ORK framework, under the controls, game controls, you need to change the player controls to none and the camera controls to none. And then in the town scene, if you're using the demo as I am, you need to go through and remove or deactivate all of the camera events, because that'll screw things up. And I deactivated the scene changer and the main camera, and you want to open up the shooter melee demo scene. I will show you which one. Right here in Invector. Shooter melee no inventory. That is what we want. And then I turned all of these things, the aim canvas clone, the V third person camera, the game controller, the tutorial canvas, the aim canvas, the event system, and the UI all into prefabs right here. You then take and drop into your ork scene right here. That way everything is set to go for ork and Invector. That's how the stuff works together. There may be other issues along the way, but we will address them as we come to them. But for now, let's go back to putting our parent clothes on. So we have him set. He's got the armor equipment viewer on his base. Apply. Now, remember that script I just showed you? That empty one? That is this one right here. That is going right on hip. That's it. Hip. My hip. That's it. He's done. He is done. You can stop with him. Now, let me show you the new one we're going to use. We are going to use... Where is that? Here we go. Don't do that. Oh, what's wrong with your... Oh, I know what's wrong with yours. This is because I forgot to add my 2D shader. But that's an easy fix. That's why it's pink like that. I will get that right now and put that in here. So that will fix that issue. 217 Invector, assets, standard assets, shaders, standard, and normal diffuse. And then let's come here, standard, shaders. They are here. See, this is my standard two-sided, which is what this should be going to. But that's okay. I can just reassign it. So let's take my Spartan briefs. Drop them on. Let's fix this pink. Standard two-sided. There. Now he's got underwear and shorts on. This is my guy. Underwear and shorts man. Or underwear and sandals man. Tight ass, nice package, if you're into that sort of thing. There's ladies too if you want a lady, but I'm just using a dude for now. Because my main character is a dude. So, Now I'm going to add that script. First, we're going to get rid of this animator. We do not need it. And it doesn't even matter what kind it is. It can be any, what kind you say. I am talking about Spartan Briefs, the rig, generic. See, this is a generic, while my main character is rigged for humanoid. It doesn't matter because we're not going to be animating this one individually. We are going to be, now let's put this script on here. And the only thing we need to assign is his hip right there where it says my hip. That's it. He is done. Let's turn him into a prefab for armor. Let's go to prefabs, armors, Troy Spartan Briefs. Let's copy the name just so I have that, because I don't like typing. Ork framework. Where's my ork framework? Oh, it's down here. I moved it out of the way. Inventory, armors, add, name, briefs. Now, we want to put down in the viewer, see, let me show you. Here we have, double check on this. Hold on, I am looking something up on my other monitor, my other computer. Armors, viewer prefab. Viewer prefab is where this goes. Let's put it right here under viewer prefab. And then let's go to combatants, because you don't forget when you add a new armor. I'm not giving you tutorials on how to use ORK framework in itself. You should know these things. But when you go there, you have to go to combatant groups, or no, classes, and you have to add the new armor we just said. Unavailable. Oh, because I forgot to set that to where to view it. That's easy enough. This will go item type, armors. And equipment settings, single, armor. There. Now, when we come here to classes, briefs is right there. And the player class can use it now. And now, let's go to the combatant. And inventory and equipment. Start equipment. Equipment's at 0. Armor. Armor. Briefs. Save setting. Confirm. And I like to do it again just to make sure that, and he still has that grammar error in there, but I'm not the grammar police, so I don't really care. It's just how I check. Now let's hide this so we don't have any errors. And let's hit play and see what happens. If everything goes correctly, when I hit new game, we should come in there and we should see his ass in that Spartan, in those Spartan briefs. And there we are, his ass in those Spartan briefs. And when I walk, boop. Now he is all set up to add all those different clothing items you saw there. Boop. You may notice sometimes some glitching out on that because this terrain is so old, and using the old terrain system that it just glitches out sometimes. That is not a problem with anything other than this specific terrain. Once I change that to the new terrain system, there'll be no glitching out. But every once in a while, he seems to get caught in it and just bounces up and down. But he hasn't done that yet. Nice hairy chest. Alright. There we go. Now, you want to see what happens if we don't use that script? This is what happens if we don't use that script. You've probably had this before, where you think, hey man, this is so cool. Oh, what the hell? Why isn't this working? He's just standing there in T-pose. Well, he's not, actually. That's just the clothes standing there in T-pose. Watch what happens when I change this. Oh, on the clothes. Not on that. On the Spartan briefs. Activate. Unpause. Bam! Dressed. Isn't that nice? Dressed and ready to put more clothes on. Oh, look at that. And if you'd like me to show you, I will indeed show you how it works with changing clothes. So let's put a little more clothes on him. Let's get him up, get him dressed, and let's put once again, I have to fix that because it does not. I have to use a two-sided shader here because if I don't, you can there's no it's invisible on the back because these are one-sided polygons on this. So anyway, here he is. Get rid of the animator as usual. Add the clothing, clothes parenter, and assign the hip to my hip, not parent hip, my hip. Parent hip gets assigned by that script, which is confusingly named my hip. I know, it's confusingly named. Now, that close is done. So let's go with working man. And inventory, armors. Let's just copy this and name it working man. But I forgot to change the prefab first, which is this one right here. Now it's going to be this one right here. One thing you may wish to do is you may want to, under inventory, item types, under armors, where is that? Maybe it's not under there. Items, equipment parts, there it is. Armor, allow unequip. No, you do not want to allow them to unequip this because then it will go to an invisible character. So now we have that. We have our new armor, working man. Now let's set up our combatants, our classes. It's down here. Don't forget to add that. And now the combatant, close. But rather than just making him start with that, I'm going to put it in his start inventory. I'm going to get rid of this. Now I'll leave that. I'll get rid of it. Go armor. Put working man. I don't want 10 of them. I think I'm going to get rid of these other two just because I don't need them yet. Now, when I start this, new game. Oh yeah, I forgot to activate that. I will do that now. Activate that. invert, apply. Now it'll work properly. There you go, working properly. Boom. Now, there's the glitch I'm talking about. That only happens on this terrain, because this terrain is so old, dating back to Unity 3. It just doesn't know what to do with it anymore, so it glitches out. Anyway, here we have, it's going to be a little difficult, equipment, brown pants, armor, briefs, working man, and back out, and boom, there we go, changed clothes, clothes changed. That's nice, eh? He still punches, jumps, camera still occludes, or doesn't occlude rather. And now a dude's got some clothes on. Put some clothes on! I did. Let's do this again and show you. Working man to briefs. Bam! Ah! There. Now I've taken some clothes off. There you have it. Conforming clothes inside of the Unity game engine. Let me show you that script once more so you can put it down. It's not that one. It is this one. Clothing parameter. That is it. That is all the script you need to conform clothes, dash clothes, or any other clothes that are made specifically for a character using the identical rig. That is the caveat. It must use an identical rig to work. Otherwise it won't, because that's what it's looking for. That's what it's looking for right here. If transform name equals transform to name, transform for each trans in parent bones, and for each transform in bones, and for each transform in parent bones. So it goes through, and it looks for these here. Let me show you that. Unmaximize on play. Let me show you that. That's why I have these public, so you can see what I am talking about. Right here, we go. We have our character. He's right there. Here is the clothes. Now, when I expand this, you'll see all the bone names in there. 64 bones. That is his bones. And then the parent bones have 97. So obviously you don't need to have all the same bones. But if you want all of this in the clothes to work properly, all of these bones in the clothes must exist in the parents. Otherwise, it won't work properly. Let me show you that here. I'm going to rename left thigh to left thigh 2. And watch what happens now. Watch what happens now. See? That's not pretty, is it? That's completely fucked up, isn't it? Though if you really wanted to have something that looked fucked up, that would be the way to do it. Sorry for the F-bomb if you are prudish, but it's just a fucking word. Anyway, let me undo that. So, names have to be identical. And the rig has to be identical. You can't just take a rig and rename the bones. Make it work, because you will end up with more fucked up results. And there, fixed. Fixed, fixed, fixed. Anyway, that is the first of my tutorials on using, I guess I should say using DAS figures in here, but any conforming close will work. Next, I'm going to show you how to stop this from happening. That will be in our next tutorial. Thanks for watching.